Today we are going to talk about Marie Antoinette. And I wish you were all in school with me because that would be a movie that we would watch most of. It's not on Netflix anymore, but if you have the opportunity to find it, please try to watch the movie Marie Antoinette. It's directed by Sofia Coppola, who took who takes a really great look at Marie Antoinette from a little different angle than people like to remember her in history. And it's called Marie Antoinette. So this is Kirsten Dunst. She plays Marie Antoinette. And then here is Marie Antoinette when she becomes the Queen of France. If you look at her picture, you might notice like she looks pretty young because she was only 14 when she married Louis the 16th, who was 15. So it was an arranged marriage. She was a princess from Austria, and the French very warmly initially, like, they greet her, this young teenage girl, when she comes over, and she's kind of like the pop star, or the most famous girl in France at the time. But things are going to turn when her marriage isn't going so well, and Louis, as being king, isn't going so well either. Again, if you remember, people were really excited about Louis being king, but it quickly fizzled because he's shy, he's awkward, he's indecisive, and Louis and Marie have a super expensive lifestyle. Like, he builds her own like little estate at Versailles. They love to party. They love to host events. And the other thing, it actually took 7 years for Louis and Marie to consummate their marriage. So they didn't really have like that chemistry, I guess we could say. So once they consummate their marriage, her job is to produce a male heir. And that's something that she's really going to struggle with. She's going to have miscarriages. Again, like, there's not a lot of love between them. And so we see them both kind of lose interest in government, and instead, like, Marie loves, she's really social. So she likes going to the opera and having dances and gambling and like hosting parties late into the night or early into morning at Versailles. She's always seen in the most expensive fashions, which, again, like, celebrities do that and people love to follow celebrities that do that. But when the French Revolution is starting and people are starving, they can't afford things like bread, it's eventually going to frustrate people. And so I'm going to show you a term that you've all probably used before. I know I have, is the word hangry. Hangry, here's a definition if you didn't know. It's a state of anger caused by the lack of food, or a negative change in the emotional state when we are hungry. Well, here's the deal. People in France are hangry. They are paying so much in taxes they can't afford food. There's a rumor that circulates that when Marie Antoinette had heard that people were starving, she said, well, then let them eat cake. Well, that's not true. She didn't really say that, but that's what the press reported. And so people believe that she was so naive, and again, this is a scene from the movie, that she's so naive and so out of touch with the people in Paris that she would think that everyone could afford cake. So in the movie, kind of using a little irony, they always have her surrounded by baked goods. She didn't say that. She knows that the press is lying, but she decided, like, why would she give the press any steam? And so she decides to ignore that rumor. Well, ignoring that rumor is just going to make people more frustrated and more upset. So if you get the chance to watch Marie Antoinette, it really gives the angle of, this was like a teenage queen who never really got any official role as a queen, and instead just like took part in all the social events and had like that loveless marriage. um Shows how she's just very playful, but that she was actually like really misunderstood. So Marie Antoinette, also, again, like, what she says would let them eat cake, it doesn't lead to the revolution, but it just makes people more frustrated. So it's like a little bit of fuel that was put on the fire.